There comes a moment in every life when we pause, look at ourselves in the quiet mirror of truth, and wonder how it is that some people seem to win every single day. Not because their paths are smooth or their skies are always clear, but because they have discovered something sacred within themselves. They have found the courage to rise even when the world turns its back, the strength to smile when the heart is heavy, and the boldness to claim purpose where others see only problems. Tonight, I want to take you by the hand and remind you that winning is not reserved for a chosen few. It is a rhythm, a heartbeat, a decision. And once you understand where victory truly begins, you will see that every sunrise comes carrying a gift with your name written across it. Let us begin, not with fear or hesitation, but with the quiet knowing that today can be the day you learn to win, not just once, but every single day of your beautiful life. Winning begins within. Before the world applauds you, learn to applaud yourself. So many people wake up every morning carrying the weight of expectations that were never theirs to carry. They wait for approval, for recognition, for someone to tell them their efforts matter. But life becomes lighter, more beautiful, and infinitely more powerful the day you realize that your worth is not handed to you by the world. It rises from deep inside you, from the courage you gather when no one is watching, from the quiet prayers you whisper in the dark, from the strength you summon even when your hands are trembling. When you begin to honor the battles you've already survived, you open the door to a new kind of victory, one that does not depend on applause, but on truth. You see, the journey of winning every day is not about beating others. It is about meeting yourself. It is about looking at the person you have been, the person you are now, and the person you are becoming, and offering love to each version. The world may never understand the storms you've walked through. It may not see the nights you held yourself together when everything around you was falling apart. But you know. And because you know, you must be the first to praise your resilience. You must be the first to say, I made it this far, and that is something worth celebrating. When you give yourself that recognition, you invite more strength to grow. You invite more courage to rise. You invite yourself to keep going. There will be days when life feels heavy, when your steps feel slow, when your heart feels tired. In those moments, it becomes even more important to applaud yourself, not because everything is perfect, but because you are choosing to stay in the fight. You are choosing to try again, to rise again, to believe again. And that choice is what separates those who merely survive from those who truly win. Winning is not born in the spotlight, it is born in the shadows, in the quiet work you do when nobody is cheering. It is shaped by your discipline, your patience, your faith, and your ability to hold on to hope, even when the road stretches long before you. The truth is, the world will applaud you eventually, but only after you have applauded yourself first. The world does not respond to doubt, it responds to belief. When you carry yourself with the confidence of someone who knows their own worth, people feel it, they respond to it, they trust it. You begin to attract the opportunities, the support, and the recognition that match the value you already claimed within. But if you walk through life waiting for someone else to validate you, you give away your power. You hand your joy to strangers. And no one should ever have that kind of control over your spirit. So let today be the day you start to celebrate yourself, not only for your victories, but for your effort, your consistency, and your heart. Applaud the small wins, the quiet victories, the progress only you can see. Applaud the courage it takes to begin again after each setback. Applaud the wisdom you've gathered through pain and the grace you've learned through growth. Because when you learn to applaud yourself, you awaken a strength that cannot be taken from you. And from that strength, you will begin to win every single day, not by chance, but by choice. Rise with intention. Every morning is a fresh page waiting for your courage to write on it. Each dawn gifts you a chance to begin again, no matter how heavy yesterday felt or how tangled your steps have been. The world may wake in routine, but you must wake in purpose. You must rise not because the clock demands it, but because your spirit deserves another opportunity to unfold. When your eyes open to the soft light of a new day, remember that you are being offered a clean space to create, to heal, to try, to grow. You are not bound by what you failed to do yesterday. You are not trapped by the mistakes you once held in your hands. A new morning means new choices, and new choices mean new possibilities. And when you greet the day with intention instead of accident, you step onto a path that leads toward your own quiet victory. Many people rise with chaos in their minds. They rush into the world carrying the noise of yesterday, dragging fear, worry, and doubt along with them. But life changes the moment you decide to rise differently. Before you reach for your phone, reach for a thought that sets your spirit straight. Before you speak to anyone else, whisper something kind to yourself. Before the world asks anything of you, ask yourself what you need to give, what you need to protect, and what you need to release. Intention is not loud, it is steady. It does not shout, it guides. And when you begin your day with that quiet guidance, you walk into the world with clarity instead of confusion. You walk with your head lifted, your heart open, and your spirit prepared. You cannot control how every day will unfold, but you can choose the energy you bring into it. Some days will test you. Some days will stretch you. Some days will whisper to you gently, and others will roar with challenges you never saw coming. But intention allows you to meet each moment with strength instead of fear. It reminds you that you are not waking up to survive, you are waking up to create. You are not rising to simply move through time, you are rising to shape it. And even when you feel tired or unsure, intention helps you take one small step in the direction of your purpose. That step, even the smallest one, is an act of power. It is a declaration that you are choosing your life rather than letting it choose you. Too many of us have learned to be gentle with everyone except ourselves. We offer forgiveness to others while punishing ourselves for mistakes we made long ago. We encourage friends with warmth while criticizing our own hearts with coldness. But winning every day begins with treating yourself the way you would treat someone you love. When you speak with kindness, you allow your spirit to breathe. You allow your mind to reset. You allow your heart to heal. Kindness toward yourself is not weakness, it is renewal. It is the courage to say, I deserve peace, even when the world tries to convince you otherwise. It is the strength to silence the voice of insecurity and allow the voice of truth to rise instead. There will be times when your mind tries to pull you back into old habits. The habit of worrying too much, the habit of doubting your worth, the habit of believing you are not doing enough. In those moments, your words become your shield. Instead of saying, I can't, say, I'm learning. Instead of saying, I failed, say, I grew. Instead of saying, I am not enough, say, I am becoming more every day. The world will try to remind you of your flaws, but you must remind yourself of your strength. The world may try to shrink you, but you must speak words that lift you. You cannot always control the thoughts that appear, but you can choose the thoughts you entertain. And the thoughts you choose become the life you live. Kindness toward yourself creates a shift, slowly at first, then undeniably. You begin to notice beauty in places you used to overlook. You begin to feel lighter in moments that once felt heavy. You begin to trust yourself in ways you never have before. When you speak to yourself with compassion, you stop fighting your own reflection. You stop standing in your own way. You build a partnership with yourself, one rooted in understanding rather than criticism. And with that partnership, every day becomes easier to win because you are no longer battling the voice inside your own mind. You are building with it. Your words are seeds. When you sow fear, you grow fear. When you sow doubt, you grow hesitation. But when you sow kindness, you grow courage. You grow confidence. You grow a life that reflects the love you have learned to offer yourself. So speak gently when you are tired. Speak bravely when you are afraid. Speak lovingly when you feel lost. The world you walk into each day will rise or fall, depending on how you speak to the person inside you. And when you choose kindness, you plant the foundation for a day and a life that you can truly win. Honor your journey. Every stumble carries a lesson, every step holds a purpose. Too often, we look back on our lives with regret, wishing certain moments had unfolded differently, wishing we had walked smoother roads or made wiser choices. But life is not meant to be a straight, polished path. It is meant to be lived, to be felt, to be learned. Your journey is not a record of mistakes. It is a record of becoming. Every misstep you've taken has offered you wisdom. Every hurt you've endured has strengthened some quiet place inside you. Every season of confusion has prepared you for a clarity you may not yet see. When you honor your journey, you stop judging yourself for where you have been and start appreciating the courage it took just to continue. There are days when the road behind you may feel heavy, filled with moments you wish you could rewrite. But if you look closely, you will see that every difficult turn shaped a deeper resilience within you. You learn to stand after falling. You learn to trust after breaking. You learn to hope after losing. These are not small lessons. They are the fabric of your strength. And they could only have been woven through experience. When you honor your journey, you embrace the truth that you did not walk through those storms for nothing. You walked through them so you could rise with a greater understanding of who you are and what you carry within you. It is easy to celebrate the good days, the victories, the moments where everything aligns neatly. But the real transformation happens in the shadows, in the nights where you questioned everything, in the mornings where your heart was tired, but you showed up anyway. You grow in the places where you struggle. You gain wisdom in the moments where you pause and reflect. And you learn your own strength in the chapters where you thought strength had abandoned you. When you honor your journey, you honor all of these parts. Not only the bright ones, not only the successful ones, but the ones that shaped you quietly, painfully, beautifully. Your journey may not look like anyone else's, and that is its greatest power. Comparison is the thief of gratitude, and gratitude is the fuel of progress. When you compare your path to someone else's, you take your eyes off the steps you were meant to take. You overlook your own lessons, your own timing, your own purpose. But when you honor your journey, you return to your lane and walk it with intention. You move at the pace your soul needs, rather than the pace the world pressures you to adopt. You allow yourself to learn in your own rhythm and rise in your own time. And that patience with yourself becomes a kind of quiet victory, a steady reminder that you are blossoming exactly where you're meant to. Every step you've taken has brought you here, to this moment, to this chapter, to this breath. And here, even now, you hold the power to continue with grace. When you honor your journey, you no longer view your life as a collection of errors, but as a mosaic of growth. You stand taller because you understand the meaning of each fall. You walk wiser because you recognize the purpose in each detour. And you move forward with softness because you know that the person you are becoming is being shaped by every chapter you have lived. Honor your journey, for it is the only one that could have made you this strong, this aware, this beautifully resilient. Stand tall in the storm. Grace is not the absence of difficulty, but the presence of inner strength. Life will not always be gentle, and the winds of challenge will often test the very core of who you are. There will be moments when the skies darken, when the ground beneath you seems to tremble, and when every step forward feels like walking through fire. It is in these moments that true character is revealed, not by avoiding the storm, but by standing steadfast within it. Grace does not mean that you are untouched by pain or immune to fear. Grace means that even when your heart pounds with uncertainty, even when your hands tremble with the weight of the world, you rise with courage and walk forward anyway. When the storm rages, it is easy to shrink, to turn away, to hide from the chaos around you. But shrinking does not protect you. It only dims the light that the world needs to see. Standing tall is not about pretending that life is easy. It is about embracing the reality of hardship while holding on to the truth of your own strength. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to uncover a deeper resilience, a hidden courage that you may not have known existed. By standing tall, you honor the strength that has carried you through past storms and prepare yourself to weather those that lie ahead. Each gust of wind, each crack of thunder becomes a teacher, showing you that your spirit is sturdier than any circumstance. It is in the storm that grace is forged. When you choose to face difficulties with composure, patience, and hope, you create a space for growth within yourself. The storm may bend you, but it does not have to break you. It may shake the branches of your life, but it cannot uproot the roots you have nurtured in faith, courage, and perseverance. Grace is quiet. It does not boast or demand recognition. It is the steady heartbeat that reminds you to breathe, to move forward, and to trust that even the darkest clouds eventually pass. And when you cultivate this inner strength, you begin to notice that storms, no matter how fierce, do not define you. Your response to them does. There will be days when standing feels impossible, when the weight of fear, doubt, or sorrow threatens to pull you under. In those times, remember that standing tall does not mean standing alone. It means reaching within and finding the courage to keep your head high, and sometimes it means leaning on those who offer support without judgment. It means trusting yourself to navigate uncertainty with dignity. Each act of resilience, each decision to face life with poise, builds a foundation stronger than any storm. You begin to walk through adversity not as a victim, but as a survivor, a warrior, a soul that refuses to be diminished by circumstance. Choose joy deliberately. Joy is not an accident. It is an act of spiritual bravery. Life will offer you plenty of reasons to feel heavy, to carry burdens, to let your spirit be weighed down by the cares of the world. Yet even in the midst of trials, even when sorrow knocks on your door, joy is possible. But it does not simply fall into your lap. It must be chosen, claimed, and nurtured with conscious intention. To choose joy is to rise above the shadows that seek to define your day. It is to plant a flag of hope in your heart and declare that you will not let circumstance dictate your inner peace. Every laugh you allow yourself, every smile you give freely, every moment of gratitude you cultivate is a quiet rebellion against despair. Choosing joy is not about ignoring reality. It is not about pretending that hardships do not exist or that pain has no place in your story. On the contrary, it is in the very presence of struggle that the bravery of joy shines brightest. To smile when the heart aches, to find laughter in the corners of a difficult day, to seek moments of light in the midst of darkness, these are acts of courage. Joy becomes a statement that, though life may try to bend you, it cannot break the spark within you. It is a defiance of despair and a reminder to yourself and to others that your spirit remains unyielding, radiant, and capable of rising above any trial. Deliberate joy also demands attention and presence. It asks you to notice the beauty that often goes unseen: the morning sunlight spilling across the floor, the sound of birds greeting the day, the simple pleasure of a warm cup of tea, or the quiet comfort of a loved one's voice. These small moments are not trivial. They are the threads that weave the fabric of joy. When you intentionally notice them, when you consciously embrace them, you allow joy to take root in your soul. You cultivate a life that is not dictated by circumstance, but guided by the choices of your heart. Every act of gratitude, every pause to appreciate what is good, becomes a doorway to happiness that cannot easily be closed. Choosing joy deliberately also means rejecting the habit of comparison and the voices that tell you your happiness is undeserved. It is easy to measure your life against others, to feel small when you see someone else's success or beauty. But joy flourishes when you stop looking outward for validation and start looking inward for affirmation. You honor your own journey, your own victories, and your own growth. You recognize that your joy is not a competition. It is a birthright, a sacred gift that grows stronger the more you claim it. By choosing joy for yourself, you also create a ripple, inspiring others to find courage in their own hearts to embrace light, even on difficult days. In the end, joy is a practice, a commitment, a daily act of bravery. It asks you to rise each morning with intention, to meet challenges with a heart open to possibility, and to remember that your spirit is larger than any hardship. When you choose joy deliberately, you step into your own power. You walk through life as a beacon, a living testament that the human heart is capable of light, even when shadows linger. Joy is not a fleeting moment. It is a way of being, a choice that transforms ordinary days into extraordinary victories. The storm will come again and again, but your capacity to stand tall will grow with every challenge you embrace. You will learn that grace is not a fleeting gift, but a cultivated habit, born from moments when you refuse to surrender, from choices made in the eye of the storm. And as you stand tall, unshaken by winds or waves, you inspire others to find their own strength, to rise despite fear, and to face life with unwavering courage. In the end, the storm does not define your story, your steadfastness within it does. Don't shrink to be accepted. You win by being fully, beautifully yourself. So often we spend our lives folding ourselves into shapes that we believe others will approve of, bending our truth to fit into spaces that were never meant for us. We soften our voices, hide our quirks, and dim our light, all in the hope of belonging. But there is no victory in losing yourself to the expectations of others. The real triumph comes when you stand in your full stature, unapologetically, without trimming your edges or silencing the music of your soul. You win not by being like everyone else, but by being the person only you can be, in all your complexity, all your brilliance, and all your imperfections. Being fully yourself is not always easy. Society, peers, even the ones we love, may pressure you to conform, to compromise, to shrink in order to avoid conflict or criticism. And in those moments, it takes courage to resist. It takes courage to say, "This is who I am," even when acceptance is not guaranteed. But the world responds to authenticity in ways it cannot resist. When you honor your truth, you radiate a confidence that cannot be faked, a presence that commands respect, and a magnetism that draws the right people, the right opportunities, and the right experiences into your life. Acceptance may not always come from outside, but the most important acceptance, the kind that shapes every victory, begins within. The act of embracing yourself fully also demands self-compassion. You will make mistakes. You will stumble. You will reveal sides of yourself that feel vulnerable or awkward. But these moments are not reasons to shrink. They are reasons to grow. To be fully yourself is to honor both your strengths and your weaknesses, your achievements and your failures, your beauty and your scars. Each facet of who you are contributes to a life that is rich, authentic, and capable of meaningful connection. When you stop shrinking, you no longer live in fear of judgment. You begin to live in alignment with your soul's purpose. And in that alignment, winning becomes natural, effortless, and profound. When you refuse to shrink for acceptance, you also inspire others to rise. Your courage becomes a mirror for someone else's courage, your authenticity a permission for others to honor their own truth. You create spaces where honesty, vulnerability, and real connection can flourish. And in these spaces, you find a deeper kind of success, one not measured by accolades or applause, but by the richness of your own existence and the depth of your relationships. To win in life is not to be liked by everyone. It is to be unshakably yourself and to walk through the world with dignity and purpose. Remember, shrinking may feel safe, but it is a slow surrender of your own light. Standing fully, beautifully, and boldly in your truth may feel risky, but it is where real life, real joy, and real victories are found. You will discover that when you embrace yourself, the world shifts to meet you there. Opportunities appear, connections deepen, and your spirit rises. You win not by compromise or imitation, but by authenticity, by refusing to be less than you were born to be. Every time you choose to be yourself, without apology, without hesitation, without fear, you step into the most powerful triumph there is, the victory of living as your whole, magnificent self. Let gratitude lead you. A thankful heart attracts victories unseen. Life will not always hand us what we expect, and the road often twists in ways that test our patience, our courage, and our faith. Yet even in the midst of struggle, there is always something to be grateful for. Gratitude is not merely an acknowledgement of the good moments. It is a way of seeing, a lens that transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. When you cultivate a heart that is truly thankful, you begin to notice blessings that were once invisible, opportunities that were once hidden, and victories that arrive quietly, almost unnoticed, until they reveal themselves fully. Let gratitude lead you. A thankful heart attracts victories unseen. Life will not always hand us what we expect, and the road often twists in ways that test our patience, our courage, and our faith. Yet, even in the midst of struggle, there is always something to be grateful for. Gratitude is not merely an acknowledgement of the good moments. It is a way of seeing, a lens that transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. When you cultivate a heart that is truly thankful, you begin to notice blessings that were once invisible, opportunities that were once hidden, and victories that arrive quietly, almost unnoticed, until they reveal themselves fully. Gratitude does not come naturally to everyone, especially when life feels heavy or unfair. There are days when sorrow weighs more than joy, when fear overshadows hope, and when challenges seem insurmountable. Yet choosing to see even a single thing to be thankful for becomes an act of defiance against despair. It is a way of saying to yourself and to the universe that you recognize life's richness, even in difficulty. Each moment of appreciation becomes a seed planted in your spirit. And just as seeds grow into strong roots and towering trees, these moments of gratitude grow into a life filled with unseen victories, quiet triumphs, and opportunities you may have otherwise overlooked. When you let gratitude guide your days, it shifts your perspective in subtle but profound ways. The things you once took for granted, a warm meal, a roof over your head, a kind word from a friend, the breath in your lungs, become treasures to be cherished. Gratitude draws attention to the richness of your journey, reminding you that success is not only measured in milestones or external achievements, but also in the depth of your awareness and the presence of your heart. When you focus on what you have rather than what you lack, your energy changes, your mind opens, your spirit becomes lighter, and in that space, victories appear, sometimes small, sometimes grand, that you would have otherwise missed. A thankful heart also influences the world around you. When you express gratitude to others, you strengthen bonds, deepen relationships, and create ripples of positivity that return to you in unexpected ways. Opportunities arise from connections, doors open from trust, and collaborations blossom where appreciation is genuine. Gratitude does not just transform your own inner life, it transforms the energy you project, and that energy attracts the victories, recognition, and support you need to thrive. It teaches patience, humility, and perspective, reminding you that life's gifts are often subtle, yet immensely powerful. Finally, gratitude is a compass that keeps you grounded when life feels chaotic. It reminds you of the lessons you've learned, the people who have guided you, and the strength that has carried you through hardships. It is the quiet whisper that reassures you when fear arises, the gentle nudge that reminds you to notice the beauty amidst struggle. By letting gratitude lead, you allow your heart to see beyond immediate trials and recognize the victories already in motion, the blessings already present, and the joy already within you. A thankful heart does not merely survive life, it invites life to thrive, and in doing so, it attracts victories that are both seen and unseen, turning every step of your journey into a triumph worth celebrating. Gratitude does not come naturally to everyone, especially when life feels heavy or unfair. There are days when sorrow weighs more than joy, when fear overshadows hope, and when challenges seem insurmountable. Yet choosing to see even a single thing to be thankful for becomes an act of defiance against despair. It is a way of saying to yourself and to the universe that you recognize life's richness even in difficulty. Each moment of appreciation becomes a seed planted in your spirit. And just as seeds grow into strong roots and towering trees, these moments of gratitude grow into a life filled with unseen victories, quiet triumphs, and opportunities you may have otherwise overlooked. When you let gratitude guide your days, it shifts your perspective in subtle but profound ways. The things you once took for granted, a warm meal, a roof over your head, a kind word from a friend, the breath in your lungs, become treasures to be cherished. Gratitude draws attention to the richness of your journey, reminding you that success is not only measured in milestones or external achievements, but also in the depth of your awareness and the presence of your heart. When you focus on what you have rather than what you lack, your energy changes, your mind opens, your spirit becomes lighter, and in that space, victories appear, sometimes small, sometimes grand, that you would have otherwise missed. A thankful heart also influences the world around you. When you express gratitude to others, you strengthen bonds, deepen relationships, and create ripples of positivity that return to you in unexpected ways. Opportunities arise from connections, doors open from trust, and collaborations blossom where appreciation is genuine. Gratitude does not just transform your own inner life, it transforms the energy you project, and that energy attracts the victories, recognition, and support you need to thrive. It teaches patience, humility, and perspective, reminding you that life's gifts are often subtle, yet immensely powerful. Finally, gratitude is a compass that keeps you grounded when life feels chaotic. It reminds you of the lessons you've learned, the people who have guided you, and the strength that has carried you through hardships. It is the quiet whisper that reassures you when fear arises, the gentle nudge that reminds you to notice the beauty amidst struggle. By letting gratitude lead, you allow your heart to see beyond immediate trials and recognize the victories already in motion, the blessings already present, and the joy already within you. A thankful heart does not merely survive life, it invites life to thrive, and in doing so, it attracts victories that are both seen and unseen, turning every step of your journey into a triumph worth celebrating. The beauty of serving others is that it transforms you in ways you cannot anticipate. As you offer your light, you begin to notice the light in others. You cultivate compassion, understanding, and gratitude that cannot be learned in solitude. Your heart expands to hold more joy, more forgiveness, more hope. You come to understand that the measure of a life well lived is not only in accomplishments or accolades, but in the love and support you have shared. The energy you release into the world returns to you in forms both visible and unseen: trust, loyalty, respect, and sometimes miracles that arrive when you least expect them. Ultimately, serving others with your light becomes a path to your own awakening. The more you lift, the higher you rise. The more you give, the more you are filled. It is a quiet, profound truth. When your life touches another in a positive way, it touches the world. And in that touch, you find victories that no one can take away. Serving others is not only an act of generosity, it is an act of courage, an affirmation of your own strength, and a declaration that the light within you is meant to shine, to guide, and to uplift. In lifting others, you discover the heights of your own soul, and that is a triumph beyond measure. Return to love again and again. Love for self, love for others, love for life. That is the ultimate win. Life has a way of testing the heart, of asking us to bend, to forgive, to rise above bitterness, fear, and disappointment. There will be times when love feels like a fragile flame, flickering in the winds of pain or betrayal. But the act of returning to love, even when it is difficult, is the truest measure of strength. Love is not weakness, it is the bravest force in the universe. To love yourself after failure, to open your heart to others after being hurt, to embrace life fully despite its uncertainties. These are the victories that endure, the triumphs that no circumstance can erase. Loving yourself is the foundation of every other love. Without it, you may give pieces of yourself to the world that are incomplete, hoping for acceptance or validation. But when you choose self-love, you acknowledge your own worth, your own beauty, and your own humanity. You forgive yourself for past mistakes, honor your journey, and cultivate patience with your growth. Loving yourself is not selfish, it is essential. It is the quiet understanding that you are deserving of care, compassion, and respect, and that the energy you put into yourself becomes the energy you radiate outward. When you return to yourself with love, you begin to approach the world from a place of abundance rather than scarcity, from strength rather than need, and from hope rather than fear. Love for others is an extension of this self-acceptance. Life will offer people who challenge you, who disappoint you, who test the limits of your patience. And yet, choosing to return to love means offering understanding, even when resentment tempts you. It means holding space for those who struggle, even when you struggle yourself. Love for others is not about perfection or agreement. It is about connection, empathy, and generosity of spirit. Each time you extend compassion, forgiveness, or kindness, you create ripples that change not only the lives of others, but also the texture of your own heart. By choosing love again and again, you rise above bitterness, cultivate resilience, and discover that the heart expands with every act of genuine care. Finally, love for life is the acceptance of all that is, the joys, the sorrows, the ordinary, the extraordinary. Life will not always be easy, and love will not always feel effortless. But returning to love for life itself is an act of courage and faith. It is the conscious decision to appreciate the beauty of each moment, to trust in the possibilities of tomorrow, and to find meaning even in hardship. When you love life, you embrace its challenges as teachers, its gifts as treasures, and its fleeting moments as sacred. Love becomes the lens through which you see the world, and through that lens, every day offers an opportunity for victory. Returning to love again and again is not a single act. It is a practice, a rhythm, a commitment. It requires patience, courage, and trust, yet it yields the deepest triumphs imaginable. Love heals wounds that nothing else can touch, illuminates paths that fear would obscure, and strengthens the spirit in ways achievement alone never could. When you center your life on love, for yourself, for others, and for the journey itself, you find that you have already won in ways that matter most. The ultimate victory is not in what you accumulate, control, or conquer. It is in the fullness of your heart and the unwavering choice to keep loving over and over again, no matter what comes your way.